tool there. And he also runs his own hackerspace called Hack42 in Arnhem. We're really lucky to have him here. He's a great guy. And if you were here yesterday, he was one of the instructors for the impressioning workshop. And if you've ever seen him impression, it's quite amazing. But today he's going to talk to us about attacking masterkeyed systems, and I will let him explain the rest. Thanks, Jos.
Thanks, Mel. Good morning. I'm definitely not used of holding a mic, but we'll see how it goes. We're going to attack master key systems. There are several ways to do that, and of course mine is the best. And I'll try to explain that process later. Attacking master key systems, well, first we have to figure out how do you exploit systems. This is a normal lock, and with pins, this is your password, and the notches in your key push up the pins to a certain level until the gap between that pin and that pin is flush and on the shear line, so it enables to turn the cylinder. Then we consider the lock open. Right? Okay, that also happens if you have funny pins, that's an abus, but same principle applies. Key pushes pins up until this is flush-ish, and then stuff can turn. That also works on dimple locks. So this is the ridge. I took material out of that. Pins get pushed up, and then it works. This is a key I prepared. That's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pin. So you understand how you file a dimple key, and by not using a Dremel, because that's really obnoxious to do that. Okay, these are normal pin system, but if you put more metal in your lock, adding these discs, then it becomes a master key system. And that enables you to do stuff. You can make it so that one key opens all the locks, and some keys don't. So you can have a apartment building that every tenant has his own lock for his own door, but all those keys for all those doors also open the front door. And then there's a superintendent that has one key that opens all the doors. As an attacker, of course, that last key is the key you want to have. Okay, so we have a master key system. This one has several levels. So this would be the superintendent or the owner, whatever, and there's several levels. And in order to do that, you'll have to add even more disks per stack or something like that. But we'll get to it. Okay, so we have a pin stack. If we look at the first two pins, those are normal pins. So the only thing we need to do is lift those to the same level. So the top one is flush. We use American configuration, which is wrong. So it's the upside down one. And, sorry, Peter. And this one would open. But if we look at the third pin stack, there are two possibilities to open this. So this will open and that will open, right? So if we add more, then the possibilities of keys that will open this lock, that increases quite dramatically. So that one will work, that one will work, that one will work. If you put a disk in each pin stack, then it's 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, 32 keys that open that lock potentially. And if you put more disks in one pin stack, that even grows faster. So you end up with a shitload of keys. So even if you are able to take the lock apart to figure out what all the parts are in there, then you can, of course, figure out what this system actually looks like. But you'll end up with a lot of keys. But you will not know which of those keys is the top one. Okay. Attacking master key systems is not new. More people tried that. I'm pretty sure this is not the guy who invented it, but he did write a nice paper about it. The normal way to attack a system, if you're not allowed to take it apart, because that's, well, then you see everything, is you start off with a working key. So you have to obtain a working key, and then you copy that key except on one position. So you get a key that's shaped correctly, but at one position you take no material off. You try that key, take a bit of material off, try it, take a bit of material off, try it, rinse and repeat until it opens. If that position, if that height on where it opens was the same one that your original key had, then you continue until it also opens, and then you have the depth of that disk. Does that make sense? I see nodding heads. Very good. Thank you. Okay, so that works. But then you end up with this picture again. A shitload of keys. And you don't know which one is the one you actually want. The door will be open a couple of times. But, okay. But the talk is called beating masterkey system the easy way. The brackets is important. So we're going to do it easy then. Yeah. We have a master key system, and we have this and that as well. And we have a blank key, so an uncut key. And so this will something like that. Okay, it's clearly not on the shear line yet, so we're going to impression this lock. Because, well, you saw my kit, and if you've seen videos of me before, you probably guessed there will be some filing involved. So that's not working. So we take off, let's say this one is the first. We take off one depth. No, still not there. Ta-ta. Let's speed that up a bit. Ooh, I overfiled. Ta. Yeah, let's call that. That'll work, yep. This one. Take a bigger step. Making a mess here. Ow. Ta-ta, ta-ta. Yep, that'll work. Take two of those. So this is just impressioning. And of course, because I start off with a full uncut key, everything is lifted up. And that's important. That's quite normal in impressioning. But with this technique, that's a very added plus. So the design of this stuff is done by Jan Willem, Marcus. Yeah. Oh, it needs a bit more. So. There we go. Boom, boom, boom. That works, that works. That needs one more. I'll take some away of this as well. This stuff will be open source, but it isn't yet, so at some point you can make this your own. Almost there, almost there. And one more. One more. I call that an open. Open. Okay. So now the trick, you keep this key. Because this is a key. It could be the master. I don't know. It could be a change key. It could be a ghost key or whatever you call it. The only thing we know is that this key opens this door. So what we're going to do, we try this key at door number 2. Let's try to take it neat. Well, as we can see, this won't open, right? So what do? Well, we do what we're good at. We start impressioning. So we keep on filing at this key. Shall we move the other side? morning. So that one now opens. So this one needs a bit more work. So would that be okay? Well, I need one more. More. That one would work, that one would work. Does that need another one? No, that should be. Okay, so now we have a key that opens this lock. Yay! Yay! So we can do, so this could be the master key, because of course we're going to try that again at this one. Come on. That one works, that one works, that one does. That one does not. So, no open. So what we can do is stay on this lock and start impressing it even more. And that looks not going to open. A bit more. We ignore all the Macs and all this fancy stuff. Boom. So now we have a key that opens this lock again, but we changed the key. So what happens here? Let's see. That'll work. That'll work. That'll work. So now we have a key that opens two locks. Let's move a bit further into the building and figure out if that works. That works, that one does, that one does, that one does. That one does as well. Last door. Should work. Okay. Fiddly. Boom. And boom. Ladies and gentlemen, we have ourselves a master key. Any questions? Okay. Of course, this was. I figured this out about 10 years ago. Sorry. I figured this out about 10 years ago, and I thought it felt this simple. Somebody must have done that, right? It's like a paperclip. If you see it, it can't be unseen. So I told a couple of guys about it and asked, have you ever seen this? And they said no, and they immediately wrote a course around it and start training it to interesting clients. And I haven't heard from, with permission though, I haven't heard from anyone saying that they knew about it beforehand. So I guess it's a 10-year-old O-Day. I don't know. So we did the south part bit, and of course nobody's going to believe it until we're actually going to do this. I have here 2 Manfrottos. Each Manfrotto has 2 locks on it, locks 1, 2, 3, and 4. And well, we're basically going to do that, but we're going to do it live. I have, these are pinned up by Holly, and she is a very competent locksmith, so it's a working master key system. It's part of a 20-door system. We randomly selected 4 and see how it goes. So yeah, let's do this. I haven't touched this before. I know the pinning because I got this picture, so you guys can figure out what happens. Of course, we start to impressing it. So this is door number 1, 2, 3, and 4. And number 1, of course, we start off by lifting all the pins because I'm going to do impressioning, and then slowly lowering the pins down like we did on the whiteboard. So in the end, this will be the configuration of that pin, of that key, right? That makes sense. Blank key. I did prepare it, so it's a 111 already. So I can. This is. See. 1, 2, 3, 4. Door number 1. Make fat things. These are Schlage keys, which is not the thing I normally impression. So it takes a bit longer than normal.
So 26 seconds.
I have 4 locks. Give me a break. And of course, because we're impressioning and there are more layers of metal in this lock, I will be hitting the most shallowest. So impressioning this might be faster than a the first lock will be faster than a non-master keyed lock, because you don't have to go that deep. Overfiling, as always, something frowned upon, shouldn't do. And yes, I indeed have not touched these locks before, so there's a definite chance for fail. Doing it live. I always find it funny when people walk in now and they go like, what the fuck is he doing? It's supposed to be a talk, speak. No pressure. What are those animals? Are you? People keep telling me I should not do this live. Wonder why. Okay, we have one open lock.
2 minutes, 15 seconds.
Someone's counting. Okay, so same as on the board, we have a key. This could be the master key. Well, I know it's not because it's done by a competent locksmith. But I did buy multiple multi-systems, and the first key that you do cut can be the one opening all the locks. Should be wrong, but it can. So this one looks. Sorry, there it is. Sorry, Kleppers. So if you look very closely, you'll see this. Yeah, that seems about right. And of course, people will go like, "You didn't touch the lock. How can you get?" That's hers. She made this picture. And let's see what it all opens. Well, we know it opens lock number 1. Lock number 2, that's a no. Lock number 3. Duh. Hold on a second. That's a no. And lock number 4 opens. Gives it not smoothly, but it does work, so open is open. So we're looking at this. It's a yes, it's a no, it's a no, it's a no. So now I walk, sorry?
Yes, no, no.
It's a no, yeah, yes. Yes, no, no.
Kinda.
Yes. Yeah, kinda. The kinda is, yeah. It's a red, not X, yeah. So yeah, there's some deep marks there, that because this one didn't want to go smoothly, but now it does. So we walk to another door, and of course that door, well, if I walk to this door, it's open. So let's take door number 2, ladies and gentlemen.
What is inside door number 2?
I don't know, let's open it first. So, first I'm going to clean this up. Duh. Yeah, it should be it. So, still works on 1. On 2 it doesn't. Oh, shit. No breakage. Well, no breakage yet, let's put it like that.
Complaints about the inferior American cylinder design.
According to some people. But it's fun if you travel light. That's shite. Of course, having 4 doors on stage would also work, but okay. Come on. Wouldn't know how. But thank you. Actually, no. Might this help? Probably. That'll work. That'll work. Oh, that one's gone. Leave it. Leave it. Door 3 fell over. And door number 2 is open.
44 seconds.
Yeah, but that's only,
Yeah, I know.
you only make it small steps. So the first door is an actual impressioning attempt on the most shallow cut that door has. And the second one, you only have to, well, of course, pin 1 and 2 are out of play because those are on the correct level already. So we now have a key that opens door number 2. Does it still, oh, let's check it. Key looks like that. Is that correct? Yeah, that's kind of still on track. So it opens number 2, because that's what it's made for. Number 1, it's a negative. Number 3, which fell over, is working. And number 4, it's negative. Still on track? So a no, a yes, and a no. So it's a group mastery thingy-ish, submaster, but not the one we want. So, well, it's not opening number 1, so we might as well walk back to door number 1 and rinse and repeat, right? And we have an open door number 1.
25 seconds.
That's, try that again. Yeah, now it's smooth. That one works. So 2 is open, 1 is open, 3 is open, and 4. So we have a master key system pwned. Complete time was?
The complete time of impressioning was 3 minutes and 25 seconds.
Okay, system beat. So now, 1 key, 1 attempt, sorry, 1 key, 1 attempt, done. So am I. Any questions? Any comments, remarks, jokes? There's one. Do we work?
Just repeat the question.
Okay, yes.
so we get it.
What would be like a good starting kit to start this kind of work?
I would start impressioning and not get locks. Make sure you have brass keys and you have locks that you can easily obtain. You will burn through keys a lot, they will break. Get decent files. There's plenty of videos, Google my name, and yeah, there's info on that as well. But make sure you get stuff that you can resource later. So, this one and that one. Any more remarks? Jokes, gimmicks, something like that? Yes? A deer with no eyes. I would go for an oh deer. No idea. That was close. I did. Yeah. Yes. Still no idea. Okay. Comments, questions. I did, but I didn't just now. Yes, ma'am. Yes. 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 Well, of course, the pictures would not have lined up. And yes, it would. Actually, it could have been easier. If I take another route through those 4 locks, then it's possible to have that in 2 attempts. So the first one opens, I took another one, and then you end up with, you have a comment?
This actually was random.
Yep.
I made 20
Holly,
locks.
Holly.
I made 20 locks, and I gave him 4 random locks. So it was random.
And like I said before, a decade ago, I did give this idea to a couple of guys, and initially they were like, no. I mean, I did it literally on the back of a beer coaster, and it was like, this should work, right? Because I don't see the error in it. They were like, no, it can't. So they got a couple of systems, and they ran through it from every angle, and yeah. Normally, if it's not deeper than this, so it's just a master key, a normal master key system, then 2 or 3 attempts will get you the master. And if there's a sub master, of course, that's more steps. But yeah, and every step keeps on being smaller and smaller because, well, you don't have that much wiggle room again for a next iteration. There was a question there.
You said it's a 20-lock system. How many locks is the most number of locks you need to access to actually get to a master key?
If this was a 20-lock system, which it is, how many locks would I need to go through to get to the master? I didn't look at it that way, but I know the other guys did 10 years ago. And that's normally, if it's non-multi-level, it's 2, 3, or 4. 4 will get you in it. And you saw, but every step, the times went stupidly down because you're only working on 1 pin stack at some point. Does that make sense? Okay. Yes.
Surely your random sample and you're only doing it until
This was a different combination than that one. Yes.
if you only have a random sample of the full lock or of all the locks.
Yes.
You're only doing it until you're opening those random samples. So you might have only found a submaster.
That's correct.
You may not have found.
That is very correct. Yes.
you keep
I'm sorry, I have to repeat this. If there's a sub master and I take 4 random locks and I do end up with the key that opens those 4 locks, there's of course a chance that I don't end up with the ultimate master, but with the submaster for that group. That's correct. So what you do, you just take your key and walk where you want to go, and every door you can't get into, well, you just need a bit of filing. And like I said before, the first one I did took 2 minutes and a bit, and after that, times went down. So if you're in the end of your red team assignment for the door you actually want to get into, and you've done 4 or 5 doors already, you won't be long at that door. It takes seconds, because it will be only 1 pin that needs to be down, and yeah, so I think it's useful in the actual real world. There's a question.
With respect to the filing and all that, how do you know which pin it is that you just said there's only 1 pin that needs to go down.
Yes,
How do you, yes.
that's impressioning for you. That's a whole different talk. which is online from 2 years ago, same event. So yeah, what you do, well, you saw me doing it. It's you put the key in and start wiggling it. The keys that's binding, like with picking, will not want to move, and the other ones will jiggle. And so that pin that does not want to move will push harder on your key, leaving a mark. We're looking for those marks. And at those marks, you go down one step. And I know the possible depth steps here, so that's how I know. Thank you.
Because you're taking material away from each key,
Yes.
how do you know that the master is always going to be the lowest?
Okay, because I'm taking material off the key, how do I know that the master is always going to be the lowest? The master is not always going to be the lowest. I start off with, let's go for this one. Does that make sense? Okay, so I start off with only this key stack, pin stack we're going to look at. So if I have a full uncut key in there, I push everything up. So the first shear line I reach, now it's open. It's either the master or it isn't, right? So if I take only this pin stack and I go to the next one, it opens it or not. If it opens, it might have been the master. If it isn't, then this depth is not the master. So I rinse and repeat until I hit an open again. So I never go past the master, because at the master, there will always be success. Make sense? So if I would try this with a working key that I nicked, obtained, or gotten, I might have been past the master depth. So this only works when you impression fresh off with a blank key, as you should in impressioning. It's possible that it works on a different system, but that would mean it's not correctly master keyed, because a master should be above and under a normal working key. Otherwise, you could take a normal key and cut it to a master. That's bad. Any more questions? Comments? Maybe a joke? There's one there.
Is it advantageous if you do have a working key? So obviously for you, because it takes you less than 2 minutes to impress your key. But some guy like me that takes 2 hours and still can't get impress your key. If you've seen the keys, is it an advantage in this?
Okay, the gentleman asked the question, if I would have a key, would that make an advantage? If I know that an actual locksmith that followed all the rules made that key, then I know that that combination, no, actually, no. I was going to say that that combination isn't the master, but that only works for the mastered pins. So that one and that one, those are correct, of course, because that's the same with everyone. But yeah, I would say no, but other people might disagree on that. I mean, yeah. I mean, yes, this takes some training, and I'm just stating this training pays off. Does that make sense? Does that answer your question? Good. Any more questions? There's one.
Can we apply the same technology of master keying to double map locks?
To what?
Double map locks.
I have no clue whatsoever because I don't know what a double map is.
Like, we use in Europe, it's like curtain locks.
Levers. I have no idea whatsoever. Because I'm not from Britain, and they tend to be used there quite a lot. And now that this talk is in the open, I'm pretty sure it will be discussed online, and so I have to get back on you on that. Anyone has a thought on levers? Okay, there's someone who says probably not, but that's what they said with this beforehand, so we don't know. Data?
Depends on the style of master key, right? They have an open gate and a lever.
Okay, I don't know. It's I'm yes. so it could be. Who knows? Submit a talk next year. It's any more questions? Guess we're done then. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jos. That was awesome. I didn't lie, right? Like, this man is amazing at impressioning. warning, the first time you try this, it's not going to take, yeah, it's not going to take you 3 minutes and 25 seconds. It's going to take you a little bit longer and a few broken keys.